Baba mpya. Hiyo yote tuko nayo hata sisi.
Kenya's first tintable waterproofing paint.
There comes a moment when the ordinary world fades away and the wild calls your name. This is as wild as you want it. And it's all here. Every trail leads to an adventure because adventure isn't just about the rush. It's about where it takes you, who you become, and the stories you'll tell. Start your adventure here at Magical Kenya.
This is the moment where we begin this live broadcast by me saying Happy Katiba Day.
Happy Katiba Day.
15 years later.
15 years later, here we are.
You know, I was just thinking how an optimist would say that perhaps the glass is half full. A pessimist would perhaps say it is half empty. While these two are arguing, the other one would come and drink the contents of that glass, the opportunist. And this is perhaps how you can look at this document 15 years later, either from the lenses of the progress we've made as a country or choose to stay stuck at the challenge that it continues to exhibit, perhaps pointing that accusing finger at each other.
Absolutely, and that conversation really quite important, kick-started today by President William Ruto and the ODM leader Raila Odinga. And what a better way to finish it off than to cap it with experts in studio who will help us, of course, get into whether the glass is half empty, whether it is half full, or whether we drink it. That same conversation. And I will be engaging the Honorable Wilberforce Oundo, the Member of Parliament for Funyula, Duncan Okach, who is an advocate of the High Court, as well as Mark Matunga, a political analyst and educationist. Clearly, there's so much to discuss, but first things first.
The highlights.
Inaugural Katiba Day calls for a multi-sectoral audit of the Constitution to align non-conforming clauses with the aspirations of Kenyans, dominates first Katiba Day. Trial at the Senate. Kericho Governor Eric Mutai pleads not guilty to 3 grounds of impeachment. Will Aden Duale resign? Pressure mounts on Health Cabinet Secretary to resign over alleged fraud at the Social Health Authority, SHA. And it's an all-inclusive government. President Ruto says he's leading a government that serves all and sundry.
You're on Prime Edition. I'm Doreen. Arange Lusimora is our sign language interpreter.
And my name is John Jacob Kioria. You're very much welcome to this broadcast, Doreen.
Yeah, we start with that story of Katiba at 15. And our calls for a relook into the 2010 Constitution dominated the inaugural National Katiba Day celebrations headlined by President William Ruto.
Speakers called for a multi-sectoral approach in auditing the Constitution to align non-conforming clauses with the aspirations of Kenyans.
President William Ruto and Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga stepped up the criticism of the Parliament demanding for accountability in the legislative arm of government.
At the Kenyatta International Convention Center, thousands filled the Taifa Hall as President William Ruto led the country in commemorating the 15th anniversary of the 2010 Constitution and the inaugural national celebration since his proclamation that the 27th of August be a national day. The first copy of the Constitution as assented to by President Kibaki, the national flag, the words of the national anthem, and the coat of arms and the presidential seal were all displayed. While speaker after another hailed the Constitution as progressive, calls for its review dominated the speeches.
We have a continuous candid conversation on the 2010 Constitution to be able to evaluate what is working, what has worked efficiently, and what is not working or what is excessive in the Constitution.
I believe the time has come for the country to relook the whole issue of devolution. Kenya, in my view, is too tiny for 47 devolved units.
Is it impossible to amend the 2010 Constitution? Or did the attempts not meet the constitutional threshold to amend? Or is it the Constitution resisting, amendments?
We should, all of us, as we celebrate this Constitution, we must celebrate the good, reflect on what is deficient, and work together towards making our country better.
Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga was even more assertive, once again criticizing the National Assembly over attempts to validate the National Government Constituency Development Fund through a constitutional amendment.
Over this, there's no compromise. Tunaenda kwa wananchi. So, Your Excellency, I know that this particular stand is making me very unpopular, but I just don't care. I will stand my stand.
While all the leaders of the three arms of government enumerated the gains made in deepening the democratic space, President Ruto, National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, and Chief Justice Martha Koome called for a closer and interdependent working relationship between the arms of government.
Every decision we make, be it in the judiciary, in the executive, or in the legislature, the question we must ask is how it impacts on Kenyans.
The legislature, the executive and the judiciary, and how they relate with each other, the national government and the county governments, the independent commissions and offices, again, that relationship has been defined there.
The president says corruption remains a big headache even after the Constitution created more accountability mechanisms.
I, William Ruto, President of Kenya, fully support the rigorous and expeditious prosecution of any corruption case backed by evidence.
And mine is Kenya.
Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
From the highlands to the sea.
Quite an interesting conversation there, kick-started by President William Ruto, the ODM leader Raila Odinga, and of course the other speakers in the celebrations of Katiba at 15. And of course this will continue being a national day, not a public holiday, but a national day celebrating the inauguration of a constitution 2010 that was inaugurated by President Mwai Kibaki the late on the 27th of August 2010. Now, to help us just look into some of the issues raised there, I have Wakili Duncan Okach On my far right, I also have the Honorable Wilberforce Oundo, as well as Mark Matunga, who is a political analyst and an educationist. All of you gentlemen are very much welcome.
Thank you.
So probably, let me begin with you, Duncan, because you're at the far right, on the proclamation by the President of the Katiba Day. In your opinion, is it a timely decision?
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
In my opinion, it's not a timely decision.
Okay.
Remember, this is a Katiba that we have had since 2010, so it's 15 years old. So I don't think you start doing birthdays for your child once they attain 15 years. Actually, that
Maybe
time...
that's when you have money.
It's not when you gave yourself a Katiba, we had money and we intended that prosperity will be with us from the next day that we bequeath upon ourselves that Katiba. So, of course, it's not timely. We should have had it. Maybe people say we can blame the previous regimes, but we still have to give it to the president, because the Englishmen say better late than never. Okay. So at least we have it, and we have seen how proud Kenyans have been. We have also seen that it has given us an opportunity to interrogate and introspect in terms of where we have come from and what we may need to do. So that opportunity, at least we can say we can dedicate this day, and without that, maybe we may not have been here today to actually speak about the Katiba Day.
All right, Honorable Oundo, what is your feeling about the proclamation?
Thank you for this invitation. First of all, let me actually appreciate the executive for thinking of having this day. It has been a long 15 years. There have been hits and misses. There have been attempts to review and revise and amend the Constitution that have always ended up a flop and have never moved anywhere. And let's also remember, even at the time we were passing this Constitution in 2010, Raila Amolo Odinga said 80% is good, 20% is bad. Let's implement it, let's walk along the journey. As we pick out the 20% that is bad, let's make a conscious efforts to amend the same.
Right.
Attempts were made through the BBI. It became a cropper. Many other attempts have made before, and I do believe this is the time now to take stock. What is good, what is bad, what we have done well, what we could have done better, and what more can we do to make this Constitution a living document as those who drafted. And we started agitating for the constitutional amendments all the way from Sabasaba up to date. Okay. We must honor them for the sacrifice, the loss of life, the loss of the blood that has been shed to up to where we are. Actually, today we must celebrate those who started by saying we must amend Section 2A of the Constitution up to where we are today.
All right. Very interesting thought. Mark Matunga, what are your thoughts?
It is a great day, John. And I want to congratulate the President for having thought about this day. I only think that it should have been a whole day, not just half a day. And it should have been done nearly in every ward, not just in Nairobi. But nonetheless, I also join my colleagues in saying better late than never. But I don't think that this is the only day that we have attempted to actually, think through or apply ourselves to the thoughts around Katiba. But it's the first time that the President has proclaimed a day that we actually need to observe, even though it's on a national holiday. And I think it is important that it gives us an opportunity to actually reflect on the gains of the new constitution. In fact, we still call it new constitution even 15 years later. And it tells you that there are things that we still need to actually work toward to be able to actually achieve.
All right. Duncan, 15 years on, are we still struggling with the foundational gaps of implementing this constitution? Or would we say then that we have achieved 80% or fully implemented the constitution?
The fact is we have not fully implemented the Constitution, but we have implemented the Constitution largely. And that is because, you know, from day one, this is a constitution that we bequeathed upon ourselves. And this was a child who was born and was supposed to be working the next day, because there was no time to mark time. And unfortunately, that's not how constitutions work. The moment you have it, it actually guides your life from the next minute after it came into being. So to that particular extent, we have lived with it. We have had to struggle with some things. We have had our issues with the issue of understanding some of these articles, and we have taken them to court for interpretation. We've had our issues with people also not understanding the extent of their powers. But we've also had our issues with things like 2/3 gender rule, which we've never been able to actually deal with. We've had our issues with what we had assumed, that the moment we have this constitution and we have independent organs or independent commissions, that will be able to fight like aspects like the scourge of corruption. Unfortunately, we are still there. We've had independent aspects like, you know, the aspect of police. And we thought that they will be so independent that to a point that we will not have an imperial presidency. But the reality, as you heard the president the other day say, that, you know, he can decide who is going to be arrested. That tells you a lot that, you know, this fiction that when people make noise, Albert Ojwang is killed, the executive will tell you, these police are independent. But when it comes to the other day, they tell you we can actually order for someone to be arrested. So the issue here is not even the constitution. As much as we are saying, yes, we do not have a perfect constitution, there's nothing which is perfect. Maybe God, but no one has gone there and come back and told us. Okay. But here, nothing is perfect. And perfection is a moving target. So to that extent, what we have, the question is, what have you done with what you have? At this particular point, we have made a mockery of this constitution. So as much as we are celebrating, and it's funny that we are saying we are celebrating, yes, but the reality is that we have a good constitution. It's like having a very good plane, but you put an inexperienced person or a person who has decided that I want to actually climb down this particular plane. It will go down. So unless we ourselves, we decide that we want to be true to the blood that Mheshimiwa says was spilled, to the aspirations that we had, it will just be, you know, something that a mockery. And if you look at it realistically, regime in, regime out after that particular, after 2010, we've had issues. We were told by Uhuru Kenyatta that he came in and the constitution was good. He even, to an extent, supported that constitution. We saw there were issues, and the courts, in so many instances, declared a lot of his decisions unconstitutional, to a point that he even said, what is this? When William Ruto, of course, he didn't support the constitution at that time, but he swore to uphold this constitution. We have seen also his decisions being quashed by the courts, and he's being told that this is unconstitutional. We have seen them also insisting, both the previous regimes, the previous regime and this one, insisting that we will still proceed. And to an extent, I always feel like most people, once they get into power, they try to find ways of ruling using the previous constitution, which is not there. Because if you look at it, now over and over again, people admire to an extent the free flow that Moi had, the first Kenyatta had, and Moi Kibaki had. But currently, you find that the constitution has really restricted that issue of imperialism to a point that they feel that it has caged them, but that is how it works. In America, as I finish that point, remember, it reached a point where Obama did not want Trump. But Trump won. And he had no option but to hand over power to Trump. It reached a point that Trump did not actually say his election was stolen. He actually said, I will not hand over power to Biden. The constitution worked, and he was told, it will be so automatic, you won't believe that you're out of the White House. It reached a point that Trump again won. As much as the Biden regime did not like him, you had to hand over power. The same thing happened here. If the constitution was not as strict as it is, Uhuru Kenyatta did not want the current president, did not support him. But the moment he won, he had to hand over power. And it is because the constitution, to a large extent, has really helped us, but there's a lot of mockery, like you heard Raila Odinga say, and he rightly said, and Raila Odinga does not just talk. Mheshimiwa will tell you. He tells you your wife is pregnant and you are told prepare for maternity money. So when he tells you these issues in terms of ESCC, IBC and DPP, actually, there is a lot that is...
And we'll pick that conversation from there. Allow me very quickly to take a short commercial break and come back. When we come back, Mheshimiwa will pick up on some of the points that Duncan Okachi is making. But most importantly, why the Constitution has been called progressive is because of a Bill of Rights. And we'll probably try to gauge where we are so far, 15 years later. A short commercial break.
There. Do you want to own a home? Welcome to Boma Yangu, a Kenyan government initiative offering affordable home ownership opportunities to every Kenyan. We have projects across the entire country. With a deposit of 5% the value of the house and a fixed interest rate of as low as 3%, your journey to home ownership begins. Log in to the eCitizen portal or dial *832#. Register with 200 shillings only and start saving via mobile money, debit card or credit card to achieve the required deposit. From the listed housing developments, select your preferred location and apply for a housing unit to begin your journey towards home ownership. Prices start from 640,000 Kenya shillings. Visit Boma Yangu at www.bomayangu.go.ke. Brought to you by Affordable Housing Board. Makao bora, jukumu letu.
Iko nini mzee? Si niliwaambia. Halo. Niletee kama kawaida.
Kama sio Kavagara, wacha kiumane.
Hii chapati ni tamu sana.
Omera, sere bila Kavagara, sio sere.
Dukani usitishe unga, itisha Kavagara.
Mimi huyu. Twende? Boss, uko sawa?
Niko sawa, ni vile niko na calls mingi. It's a busy day, you know.
Kazi lazima ichape.
Background.
Faster speeds, better experiences. Over 50 million Kenyans. One network. Safaricom. Popote ulipo.
Wait.
Premium flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
Attention all journalists in Kenya. The Media Council of Kenya, MCK, is calling you to apply or renew your 2025 press card now. It's fast and easy. Just log on to your online portal at www.mediacouncil.or.ke. For more information, email us at accreditation@mediacouncil.or.ke or call 0110-131-447 or visit us at Britam Center, Nairobi, or our Mombasa, Meru, Nakuru, and Kisumu offices. You can report violations or press freedom issues by calling us on 0702 222 111. Stay legit. Carry your press card on duty. Always ready, always professional. MCK. promoting press freedom and responsible journalism.
We're not one thing, we're many. We move fast to change lanes, but no matter the mood, bank tunahitaji nenye na switch na sisi. Enye already where we are and ready when we are. In our pockets, on our time, na speed yetu. One built not just to keep up, but to move with you in every mode. So, uko mode gani? Download the new KCB mobile app and switch on your mode today.
Welcome back. You're watching the Prime Edition. We're still discussing the Katiba at 15. And coming back to you, Honorable Owundo, in terms of the gains made through the Bill of Rights, because one of the things why it was billed as progressive and what you would say a good constitution is it was because of a Bill of Rights. Today, can Kenyans say that they are well protected by the Constitution?
First of all, let's start by acknowledging that the Bill of Rights exists. And it's one of the most progressive Bill of Rights in any constitution in this part of the world, and literally the entire world. And whether we have lived the spirit and the letter of the Bill of Rights is a debate that will rage on for many, many years to come. Let me start by saying very clearly, the people who have been entrusted with the opportunity and the duty to shepherd the Constitution are the relics of the old constitutional order. They have been students of Mzee Moi, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Uhuru Kenyatta, who later shepherded the Constitution once Mwai Kibaki left, was a student of Moi, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. William Samuel Ruto was not even a student, could have even both a student and literally everything about Moi. So they have not managed to countenance that the new constitution has brought out a new constitutional order. They have lived in the old colonial relics of the Chiefs Act, where the supreme leader, where the president became literally like a supreme leader, whose decisions and actions could not be questioned. And indeed, that hangover has persisted, has conflicted them, has been unable to allow them to allow the new constitution live the spirit for which we inaugurated it. Many of us remember the repressive days of the Moi regime. When you would, everywhere you would go, even at the campuses at the university, half of the people you would sit with will be informers of the regime. Whatever you say, whatever you talk about, even the essays, even the assignments you do at the university, they will be taken and retaken to some security agencies to review. Uhuru Kenyatta came in to him, looking at what the father ruled Kenya, what he saw, what Moi ruled Kenya. Moi picked him wherever he was, made him a nominated member of parliament, made him a a minister for local government. When he got the power, he could not understand that the setup has changed. Likewise, Ruto, had been a spanner boy of Moi, had been a minister in Moi's government, had been one of the people who caused chaos in this country through YK 92. He could not understand, I've gotten a system that completely has got a different constitutional architecture, legal architecture. Remember, this constitution, both Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto opposed it. They opposed it. They didn't vote for it. They opposed it. So to them, this was a forced document to them. They had no, that connection, that conviction to live the letter and the spirit of the Constitution.
So you're saying on the Bill of Rights, we are not living the spirit and letter of the Constitution?
Honestly speaking, John, if I live the spirit of the Constitution, the many bullets that hit our boys and girls since the Unga demonstrations, since after the repeat election of 2017-2018, if we had truly lived the spirit of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the over several thousands of deaths that we have recorded through police bullets will never have happened.
All right.
The charging of innocent boys and girls under the Anti-Terrorism Act will never have happened.
Okay.
Intimidation of the judicial officers will never have happened. The intimidation of members of parliament, both the National Assembly and Senate, will never have happened.
You're referencing the recent remarks by the president?
Yes, that's a fact of the matter.
We'll come to that later because I know that has asked members of parliament.
Will never have happened. We are fine. The Constitution is in force, but we are not implementing the Constitution according to the spirit that was envisaged by those who fought for the repeal of Section 2A and brought in multipartism, and they changed a revolution that brought in the new Constitution.
All right, as we talk about it, Mark Matunga, and we referencing the Bill of Rights as he aptly puts it in terms of how we've implemented it. One of the commissions that really came under fire today, and particularly from the Honorable Raila Odinga, is actually the National Police Service Commission and the National Police in terms of how it has handled demonstrations or response to protests and demonstrations vis-a-vis this progressive Bill of Rights.
You know, John, I find it very interesting when I'm hearing comments from my fellow panelists, Dan Carton and Wilbur was here, basically looking at the entire Constitution as the responsibility of one person, and that's the president. And that shocks me when educated people still, they are telling us that we need to move away from the old regimes or the old constitutional postures. And that's what they're still talking about, that, hey, you know, the president needs to do this. Yet the Constitution actually is a responsibility of all of us. All of us, because, you know, I know you're talking about the Bill of Rights, but for me, if you look at this Constitution, everything in the Constitution, everything that we aspire to do, much as it's captured in the 18 I think 218 chapters and then 280 articles. All that is summarized beautifully in the preamble. My thinking is that if we actually, forget about even looking at the Bill of Rights, if we focused on the preamble of our Constitution and actually committed nearly everyone, and even every single member of parliament should actually be able to recite that.
We the people.
We the people. That ends with us saying that having given ourselves this Constitution. If you look at the bill of, the preamble covers literally everything that we need to be able to address ourselves to. And it is not a conversation of whether this president did this or that president did that, or who supported the Constitution or who did not. In any case, that support is also covered in the Constitution itself. It gives you an opportunity to actually express yourself. And it is true. If you're still hanging over 15 years later, who actually voted for the Constitution and who did not? I mean, I'm just wondering what kind of a progressive person you are. And I'm shocked to hear that from my fellow member of, my member of parliament here and Wakili. We all should know and appreciate that the Constitution is actually a living document. And there's no way we'll ever get to a point where we achieve perfection. There's a reason for those of us who go to church. There's a reason we go to church every single weekend. Those who go to church on Saturday, on Friday, on Saturday and Sunday, to be reminded continually of what our responsibilities are from a spiritual perspective, and to be reminded continually, if we left church aside, every time we need to be reminding ourselves. And that's why I think that every single Kenyan, actually that maybe if it were to go out by even degree, every single Kenyan, child, adult or otherwise, should memorize the preamble, because that's where everything is. And I hope that during this show, you can read for us the preamble, not the Bill of Rights, because I think a lot of us make noise about the Bill of Rights, about police brutality, about this law has been kept, about corruption and all of that. But if you looked at the preamble, it covers all that. And because if you focus on all the aspects of the preamble, you realize that every single aspect of what we actually need to be focusing on as Kenyans, as humans, as we, the people of Kenya, is actually covered there.
All right.
And so this sort of selective conversation, whether we were saying, oh, you know, these many people should not have died. I mean, there are people who even died during the process of constitutional making. Why are we not talking about that?
Okay.
So let's not sectionalize or basically apply what I would consider some sort of bias around a critical document that we've given ourselves. You know, my friend Duncan has given an example of the US. I mean, luckily, I went to school there and I've lived there. But you can also see, to the extent that the US itself, as one of the oldest democracies, how they are actually still struggling with the application of even their own constitution. I mean, look at what is happening there right now. I don't think I want to go to the details of, you know, the posturing of the current president. So it's never perfect. It is work in progress. It is a living document. We always want to strive to get to a level of perfection.
All right.
And we might not even get there during my lifetime and during our lifetime. But it is our responsibility to apply ourselves to this living document that we gave ourselves, we the people.
All right. Meanwhile, remember Chan, Echo KBC, when I come back, you're going to respond, because both of you have taken quite hard hits from Mark Matunga. You respond to it when you come back. Don't go too far.
The National Youth Service, NYS, is proud to announce its 89th Passing Out Parade at the NYS Paramilitary Academy in Gilgil, Nakuru County. The occasion will be graced by His Excellency, President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. As NYS continues its mission to transform, train, and empower the youth of Kenya, this parade marks another milestone in our journey towards realizing our vision of being a center of excellence. This ceremony will be live on KBC Channel 1 from 9 a.m. on Thursday, 28th August 2025. NYS, Huduma kwa Taifa.
There comes a moment when the ordinary world fades away and the wild calls your name. This is as wild as you want it. And it's all here. Every trail leads to an adventure. Because adventure isn't just about the rush. It's about where it takes you, who you become, and the stories you'll tell. Sometimes you need the thrill. Sometimes you need the journey. Start your adventure here at Magical Kenya.
Here at the Kenya Bureau of Standards, we do not just set the standards, we set the pace. Just like our footballers, we believe in excellence, integrity, and protecting what matters most, you, our consumer. From the products you buy to the services you trust, KEBS is your silent defender. Ensuring safety, quality, and fairness every step of the way. As you cheer your favorite team, know that behind every timer, every goal, every whistle, there's a standard that holds strong. Kenya Bureau of Standards, the home of standards. Enjoy your CHAN games on KBC, your true sports partner. Quality, integrity. That's the standard we live by. KEBS, standards for quality life. Viwango kwa maisha bora.
Are you ready to turn your passion into a profession? Welcome to Sensei College, where innovation meets action. At Sensei, we don't just teach, we train, we equip with hands-on market-driven courses. Join thousands of Kenyans and the rest of the world who have launched their careers with just an ID. Our friendly learning environment, modern facilities, and skilled instructors give you the support you need to thrive. Looking for industry-based training with real tools, real skills, and real outcomes? Look no further. Call 0705 000 777.
Are you looking for an insurance partner with a smart cover that doesn't break the bank? Look no further than Definite Assurance. We make insurance simple, clear, and definitely affordable. We offer protection for various motor classes, fire and burglary, marine, personal accident, bonds, and corporate medical insurance. We are real people who give real care. Visit www.definiteassurance.com or email info@definiteassurance.com for more information, or contact 0708 247 247 or 0788 247 247. Definite Assurance. You are definitely covered. J. Uko nao.
We are back on Prime Edition. We're talking about Katiba at 15, the hits, the misses, and of course, the reckoning. Before we went for a breather, Duncan and Mheshimiwa Oudo, you've taken some hits from Mark Matunga.
Allow me, John, to respond, because he raised very fundamental issues. And I want to remind Mark that in the preamble, it says, recognizing the aspirations of all Kenyans for a government based on the essential values of human rights, equality, freedom, democracy, social justice, and the rule of law.
You need to read the whole preamble.
Yeah, I'm reading the whole preamble.
Okay.
It is difficult to make any Kenyan to believe the successive governments that have been in charge of the new constitution have literally lived to the rule of law. Disregard and disobeying court decisions has been the order of the day. Rubbishing and humiliating judicial officers and the judiciary has been the order of the day. Humiliating and embarrassing the parliament when you have misused them like a rag, a tissue paper, has become the order of the day.
It looks like your beef is consistent from your opening remarks.
It is really very unfair for anybody to allege and claim that you have lived the spirit and the letter of the law.
The other thing that I think Mark forgets, one thing, we were told that if you want to drive well, you must also have side mirrors so that you can see where you are coming from. If you are not a good student of history, you'll not even know where we have come from, and that is what influence the articles in our constitution. If you look at, and where Mark goes wrong, and on the law, I don't think he can even debate with me on these ones. If you look at the Article 3 of the Constitution, it says every person has an obligation to respect, uphold, and defend this Constitution. That is the obligation given to every person.
Every person.
Whatever we are
contends that includes you.
Yes, and it includes us.
Yes.
That is to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution. When we raise issues and we say that these people are not acting within the tenets of the Constitution, what are we doing? We are upholding. We are actually doing what he is saying we should be doing. And that is essentially it. But if you look at the role given by the to the president under Article 131, he is the head of state. Like the head of, we are calling him the father of the nation. He must lead by example. That is a very serious role. Secondly, under Article 2, he has been told that he has to respect, uphold, and ensure the safety of this Constitution. Remember, we have not been given that in Article 3, it is given to the head of state. Then to safeguard the sovereignty of the republic. That sovereignty that we are saying everyone, Kenya is sovereign, but remember under Article 2, we have donated that sovereignty to our leaders, Mheshimiwa and the rest. So to that extent, it will be myopic to say that we cannot sit here and say that the president should be at the forefront. Did I swear with the Bible during the inauguration? I didn't. You didn't. The person who swore to uphold is who? The president. And we must hold him to account, and he must lead from the front. And that's why the things that we are saying today, as much as he's saying there are issues here and there, he must lead from the front to ensure that that whatever he's saying, all of us will follow. If you have a bad presidency, there'll be an issue.
All right. One of the issues that you've seen Mheshimiwa pick out, of course, is the remarks made by the president, which he also repeated today in terms of saying, I will deal with corruption within the executive ranks of government. But then Parliament and the judiciary must also deal with it. And he referenced the jurispesa tag. Do you think the Parliament has dropped the ball, particularly in terms of implementing the Constitution as should be and enacting laws really that protect the resources of the country?
But you see, that is what my friends forgot to actually appreciate in the Constitution. Duncan says that he's not that he says, he's a lawyer, but he forgets that the Constitution actually talks about 3 arms of government. Talks about the legislature, talks about the judiciary, and talks about the executive. The president has taken responsibility of the executive. Judiciary needs to do the same. Parliament, you heard just the other day when they were told, hey, you guys clean up your house. And I think that in the scheme of corruption, I think Parliament is number 1, in my view.
Is it?
Parliament is number 1, followed by whatever. But then, you know, he's just mentioned here that, you know, they were being used. I mean, how do you allow yourself to actually be used if you're elected the member of Parliament and you're supposed to be actually representing, legislating, and also oversight? And even the debate they're having with Raila now, where he's talking of NGCDF. I mean, it's not in the Constitution. So actually, Parliament, Mheshimiwa here, they're the first team that actually is basically breaking and mutilating the Constitution. Look at some of the areas that they've not even been able to legislate, that the Constitution requires them, up including
two-thirds
gender rule. They've not done that. In fact, I would have expected Mheshimiwa to come here that day to say that, hey, as Parliament, we've fallen short. These are some of the things that we actually need to be able to do that we have not done. And that I expect to take responsibility. Remember corruption, they're the ones now crying that, you know, because there is a problem. So the president has actually come out and said, one, he's created a platform for us to actually be able to review the Constitution every so often. And I think that is something we commend. And he's also taken responsibility on and say that, okay, fine, there's a problem in the executive, I'll actually have to deal with it. But he expects actually the other arms of government, but the Constitution gives mandate to be able to execute their part of the game, to also do what they are required to do. And right now, to say the truth, Parliament has fallen far short to actually be able to even come here and tell us that this is
the one who has captured the Parliament.
All right, and let's see
if that is the case, they've allowed themselves.
All right, let's see if
be able to do that. But let's put that aside. The conversation here is about where are we with the Constitution. In my view, I think that we have done quite a bit. There are areas that are lagging behind. Parliament needs to sort that out. There are areas that are actually still lagging behind from the executive side in terms of issues of devolution. But I think that we also need to actually figure out how is the issue of corruption impacting even our opportunity to realize the benefits of the new Constitution.
All right. Mheshimiwa, as you respond to that very quickly, please also respond to that matter of CDF, because it is one of the issues that clearly look like it will be going to the referendum. And very quickly, so.
John, one, the third schedule of the Constitution of Kenya places the responsibility of protecting and enhancing the Constitution of Kenya under the hands and the head and the souls of the president. That's why in this country of Kenya, the president is the first person to take a solemn oath, to swear, before they advise the deputy president, before the members of parliament to do so.
Except this time you took it before him.
No, he took first. The third schedule is very clear oath for solemn affirmation of allegiance of the president, oath of solemn affirmation of due execution of the office of the president. It bestows on him to protect and ensure the Constitution is maintained and the spirit of the Constitution is lived. The two presidents who have shepherded this Constitution have fallen short of the glory.
NGCDF.
That's now. On the issue of NGCDF, I think it's a necessary debate. We keep on wasting national time to debate about it. First of all, the money, the funds for Kenya are divided into 3 or 4 pockets. One, the judiciary, the consolidated fund, the executive, and the equitable share going to the county government. What is retained by the national government is upon the national government to decide how to distribute that money in all parts of this country. That's a fact. What NGCDF, it picks from the national government share of the national revenue. It does not interfere with any other revenue. It does not interfere with the equalization fund. It does not interfere with the shareable revenue. It does not interfere with the money going to the judiciary, to parliament, as well to consolidated fund. So all this debate you are seeing is just a debate, a misguided debate, and generally driven by this feeling of bashing and bastardizing members of parliament. At times you keep on asking, if Kenya does not need parliament, then abolish it. Then we go to Article 1 of the Constitution. We can govern ourselves directly without having to delegate that power to anybody else. Members of parliament have got no role to play in the running and management of NGCDF. They just play the oversight role as enshrined in Article 95 of the Constitution. And I challenged somebody who asked me, when the president is going to launch a project in my constituency, invariably he will invite me for political capital. Just the same way the chair of NGCDF, when he's going to launch a project, he will invite me because the Constitution allows me to oversight and present people's views to the parliament so that we can budget and enact laws. It's a simple start.
I'm really under pressure here.
As I
catch 30 seconds.
Just 30 seconds.
Very quickly, yes.
Man-made law did not make man. So NGCDF has touched, is actually the most efficacious fund that has ever been in this country, and it has touched and improved the lives of Kenyans. That's a fact. If there is an issue of a conflict with the Constitution, the best thing is to work towards making it constitutional. In terms of all these issues of amendments, I will prefer that we work towards it so that it's coupled together with the time that we are doing our general elections so that we save time. Because a constitution and all laws must be amended. They cannot remain static.
All right.
Thank you.
You 30 seconds very quickly as you wind up.
You know, when I'm hearing that if NCDF or NGCDF is in conflict with the Constitution, we know that it is not in the Constitution. They are not required to actually oversight or manage or disburse or do whatever. That is not in the Constitution. It is unconstitutional. And if we are talking of 15 years of the new Katiba, then we should do away with things that are unconstitutional. The same way we are applying this in every aspect of Kenyan life.
Absolutely. As you can tell, the constitutional debate is something actually today one of the complaints by the Honorable Raila Odinga was that the president should have actually had the whole day to have this conversation because there's so much really that Kenyans really need to vent out. CDF should be in the Constitution. Mark says it should not be. Duncan says it's something we can...
It's not in the Constitution now, so don't even try to apply it.
But
it's unconstitutional.
Oh my Lord, it's time for us to take a breather.
We created the Constitution and we have a rubber. And we have a rubber that we can rub in anything and include anything.
Which is allowed.
During
this 2024 Chan moment, every glass of milk tells a story of care, quality, and goodness from the farm to your table. At the Kenya Dairy Board, we ensure that every drop you drink is fresh, safe, and wholesome from licensed dairy business operators you can trust. Milk is nature's pure gift, packed with calcium for strong bones, protein for growth, and vitamins to keep you healthy and active. Always look for dairy products permitted by the Kenya Dairy Board, KDB, your guarantee for safe and quality milk and dairy products. From our children to our adults, from breakfast to bedtime, the goodness of milk powers every moment. The Kenya Dairy Board, world-class dairy regulator committed to quality, safety, and national pride.
The stage is set, the teams are ready, and your voice could be the difference. Come wave your flag, sing your song, and back your favorite team as they battle for glory in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship 2024, right here on home soil.
We're not one thing, we're many. Hustlers morning, dreamers are lunch. By 3 p.m. tushakuwa mimloads. Ndo giza ikiingia, content inashika. We move fast tukichange lanes. Ndio kesho iko soft life, leo tunaingia grind mode. But no matter the mood, bank tunahitaji nenye na switch na sisi. Enye iko already where we are and ready when we are. In our pockets, on our time, na speed yetu. One built not just to keep up, but to move with you in every mode. So, uko mode gani? Download the new KCB mobile app and switch on your mode today.
Kenya's first teethable waterproofing paint.
Welcome back, and after that cogent discussion there with JJ Kioria, we continue to inform you on some of the stories that have made headlines today. And now Kericho County Governor Eric Mutai has pleaded not guilty to the 3 grounds of impeachment brought against him to the Senate by the County Assembly of Kericho. Mutai is accused of gross violation of the Constitution, abuse of office in gross misconduct that includes leaving mob to invade private land and designating it dump site against court order, intimidation, harassment, and unfair dismissal of county staff. Give us one minor tells us more.
After surviving an impeachment motion in October last year at the Senate, Kericho Governor Eric Mutai on Wednesday found himself on the trial for the second time.
Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka.
The governor facing similar charges of gross violation of the Constitution, abuse of office, and gross misconduct.
The governor aided, abetted, and or condoned the fictitious payment of goods, services, and works which were neither delivered nor done, occasioning the county loss of Kenya shillings 85 million.
In particular, the Kericho County Assembly accused the governor of mobilizing a mob to invade a private land, unfairly sacking county staff, creating toxic work environment and culture of fear, and using unbecoming language to members of the staff.
The governor recently hired his own brother, one Victor Mutai, as a revenue clerk. Similarly, the governor's personal assistant's wife, one Chepkirui Mercy, was recently hired as a nurse on contract basis.
Some of them that will be brought here to adduce evidences are former CCs of Kericho County. Some of them were mentioned in the Londiani scandal. Out of it, I was able to release some of them out of work.
Kericho County Assembly lined up witnesses to testify on allegations of harassment and unfair dismissal by the governor.
When you gave your professional opinion in the presence of the CCs and chief officers, what did the governor tell you? What did the governor say? How did he react?
If I can remember vividly, is that he said, I thought you have physical disability alone. Kumbe, you have mental disability as well.
They were, however, taken to task by the defense lawyers to explain circumstances under which they were allegedly sacked.
You have filed a case in court challenging your termination.
We don't have any case.
You did not file any case?
We withdrew the case.
Or you withdrew the case?
Yes, so we don't have any case.
You don't have any case as we speak?
Yes.
It is also true that you attempted to get the court to give an order to stay your termination, isn't it?
Yes, at that time, before the end of our termination.
And it was unsuccessful?
Yes.
Okay.
Give us Minor Prime Edition.
President William Ruto has refuted claims that his government is not inclusive, saying he will continue serving all Kenyans regardless of their political affiliation or ethnic backgrounds. Speaking on Wednesday when he hosted a delegation from Kiambu County at State House, Nairobi, Ruto reminded Kenyans that he was elected to unite the nation and not serve a few. And as Timothy Kipnusu now reports, the meeting was part of the president's continuous engagement on key development areas.
President William Ruto on Wednesday hosted a delegation from Kiambu County in State House, Nairobi. It is here that he dismissed those terming his leadership non-inclusive.
Wale wengine wasitupotezee wakati, wawache vitisho, wawache chuki, wawache ukabila, wawache fitina na porojo, watengeneze manifesto yao.
Ruto said he will continue serving all Kenyans regardless of their political inclination or ethnic background.
Mimi sihitaji mtu ya kugawa watu na kulete ukabila na kulete chuki. Mimi sina haja na hiyo. Tushirikiane, tufanye kazi pamoja. Kenya ni nchi.
He cited the strides the country has made, particularly in the healthcare sector, education, agriculture, infrastructure and employment.
Tunataka afya iwe haki ya kila Mkenya, bila ya kujali ako na pesa ama hana pesa. Health can no longer be a privilege for those who can afford. It must be a right for every citizen because it is documented in the Constitution.
He said his government is delivering the largest market development in Kenya's history, including 30 modern markets in Kiambu County alone at a cost of 4.5 billion shillings.
How are we going to be in the first world, together with Singapore and Malaysia and others, if we are incapable of making the decisions they made to be able to climb the economic ladder to where they are?
He also defended the affordable housing project, terming it the best bet yet for Kenya. The delegation was led by the National Assembly Majority Leader and Kikuyu Member of Parliament Kimani Ichung'wah.
Na tunakushukuru kwa mwaliko wako ili kwa midterm review ukuje utuambie mahali umefikisha ile kazi tulikupea na tunaenda wapi, ni gani imefanyika, ni gani inafanywa saa hii na ni gani umepangia.
Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
To some health matters now, the Kenya National Union of Nurses has warned of a nationwide disruption of health services should counters fail to absorb universal health coverage staff on permanent and pensionable terms beginning September 1st, 2025. Now, Secretary General Seth Panyako, reacting to remarks by Council of Governors Health Committee Chairperson Muthomi Njuki, who opposed the directive by Health CS Aden Duale, maintained that the directive must be implemented.
The report on the verification exercise of the UG staff has not been validated and officially shared, and therefore the process of transfer that the ministry is proposing is not agreed upon.
It is this statement from the COG Health Committee Chairperson, Governor Muthomi Njuki, that has irked the Kenya National Union of Nurses. But non-Sec Gen Seth Panyako says the directive by the Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale must be implemented without delay, warning of consequences should counties fail to comply.
We are telling them that if this conversion does not take from 1st of September, we will camp at the headquarters of all governors in this country until those letters are issued.
Speaking in Nairobi, Panyako also accused the COG of shifting goalposts by linking the absorption of UHC staff to funds availability.
I heard the governor for Tharaka-Nithi Njuki saying that he wants the money first, resources first, then UHC can be converted. I want to remind him that the Constitution and the County Government Act are very clear. The Constitution says resources follow functions. So the function of transferring this UHC staff to permanent and pensionable must happen first, then the resources will follow.
The union maintains that the absorption will not only enhance job security, but also stabilize health services at the grassroots. With just a few days till September 1st deadline, the fate of the thousands of UHC workers hangs in the balance should the two levels of government fail to agree. Away from that, Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya has challenged African nations to take the lead in shaping global rules on the use of artificial intelligence in the military. Addressing a high-level regional workshop in Nairobi, Tuya warned that leaving such critical decisions to powerful countries could expose Africa to policies that undermine its security. During the three-day forum held under the Global Responsible AI in the Military Domain Initiative, policymakers, defense experts, and international partners will explore how to leverage emerging technologies in peacekeeping to ensure stability across the continent.
Our chief guest.
Kenya is once again at the center of global security discussions, this time on how artificial intelligence will shape the future of warfare and peace. Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya opened the Africa Regional Re-Aim consultations in Nairobi with a powerful message that technology must serve humanity, not endanger it.
The decisions we make in these consultations will shape how artificial intelligence serves peace, security, and human dignity across our continent. We must ensure that AI enhances our collective security while upholding international humanitarian law and protecting civilian populations.
Artificial intelligence is already transforming militaries worldwide, shaping battlefield decision-making, improving logistics, enhancing surveillance, and even predicting threats before they happen. But experts warn the same technology could erode international norms, accelerate disinformation campaigns, and make war more unpredictable.
It is not enough to just talk about responsible AI. Action is needed, and action is not easy. It requires persistence, political will, and genuine investment in this topic. It means bringing together voices that are not always agreed, that do not always agree, but must be heard.
Kenya opines that these risks must be addressed through African-led frameworks, inclusive of governments, researchers, and young innovators whose ideas are shaping tomorrow's technology.
The need to carry along our young populations, because they are right at the center of AI, and they are very innovative. And if we don't involve them in the discussions around responsible use of AI, bringing on board the issue of ethical frameworks and human rights and human dignity, then we will continue to see the very concerning irresponsible use of AI and technology.
2 years' call was echoed by international partners who praised Kenya's role in advancing a global resolution on responsible military artificial intelligence.
The governance of AI in the military domain must indeed be multi-layered, with efforts at the international level, at the regional level, and at the national level. And it is so very important that these different levels are somewhat informing one another to allow for meaningful progress.
Because only if we approach AI in a responsible manner, we can truly unlock its potential. The Netherlands is deeply committed to this cause both at home and internationally.
The 3-day meeting, co-hosted with the Netherlands, Spain, and the Republic of Korea, brings together governments, defense chiefs, academics, and civil society groups, all united on how Africa can shape the responsible use of military artificial intelligence. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Thank you so much, Madam CS, for the inspiring words.
Time for your business news now. And African countries are pushing for reparations and debt cancellation, saying even with the debt relief programs, many African countries are required to service bilateral and private sector debt. Speakers at the 5th African Conference of Debt and Development in Accra, Ghana, say this is crippling African countries' ability to respond to domestic socio-economic pressures.
Africa's debt burden has reached alarming levels. By 2024, Africa's total public debt stood at approximately $2.14 trillion, while 22 countries remain in or at high risk of debt distress, including Kenya. 4 countries, Chad, Ethiopia, Ghana, and Zambia, have already defaulted. Alarming trends also reveal that 25 African countries spend more on debt interest than on healthcare, while 7 spend more on debt servicing than on education.
Even with debt relief programs like the DSSI, the Debt Service Suspension Initiative, the G20's Common Framework, the IMF's Special Drawing Rights, many African countries are required to still service bilateral and private debt.
This seriously crowds out critical spending on infrastructure, education, and health. Some of the underlying drivers are domestic revenue mobilization challenges across the various countries, currency depreciation and exchange rate risks, which amplify the debt ratios when obligations are in foreign currencies.
Speakers at the ongoing 5th African Conference on Debt and Development argue that Africa's debt crisis is rooted in centuries of systemic exploitation from the transatlantic slave trade and unfair global financial systems.
These numbers are not just by accident, but rather by design. And I think Mayadi, referred to the system that we are grappling with right now. So it is by design in the sense that Africa is operating in a rigged, and I'm using that underlined, rigged international system that will not let us prosper.
The experts argue that reparations for environmental damage caused by industrialized nation, debt cancellation, and structural reforms are essential to restore economic sovereignty.
Unless we change the way we do things, never will we be able to be relevant and to be influential at all. This is the moment in time when we should drive the agenda of Africa forward. The future of the world is nowhere else but in Africa.
To address the problem, economic experts are calling for solidarity in action, bold, collective solutions that prioritize people over repayments.
Africa's debt crossed the $2 trillion mark. And with a population of about 1.5 billion people, this means on average, every citizen carries a debt burden of about $1,300, which translates to about 169,000 shillings in Kenya, nearly 5 million in Uganda, and over 3 million in Tanzania. It is a reminder that this debt crisis is not just a government's problem, it's a burden on every citizen on the continent. Wari Mujenga, reporting from Accra, Ghana.
Thank you, Arimon Jenga, for that. Moving on, the government has rolled out a two-week country-wide registration drive targeting to enroll 500,000 farmers on the Kenya Integrated Agriculture Management Information System, KIAMIS. Agriculture Principal Secretary Katiba says the exercise is crucial in meeting the new European Union deforestation regulation, which requires verification and geomapping of farms to access European markets.
Since its rollout in 2020, the Kenya Integrated Agricultural Management Information System has registered close to 7 million farmers, with the government targeting 15 million farmers by the year 2030. KIAMIS is a digital farmer registration and data management system used by the government for farmers to access subsidies such as fertilizer and quality farm inputs.
Tunataka kuhakikisha kwamba wakulima wa Kenya wote wenye wanataka kupata hii mbolea na mbegu na vitu zingine kwenda mbele, lazima waingie kwa hii teknolojia inaitwa KIAMIS.
The government is targeting to register 500,000 new farmers on the portal before the end of August 2025. The drive runs across all 47 counties, with farmers required to present their national ID and phone number at county agricultural offices or register through agripreneurs.
Kwa kila county Kenya mzima tumeemploy vijana inaitwa agripreneurs kusaidia kupambana na shida ya wakulima ili wasaidie wakulima kuzalisha chakula.
So far, 6.9 million farmers have already been registered in KIAMIS. Agriculture Principal Secretary Katiba is also urging coffee farmers to register with the system to keep Kenya's premium coffee competitive abroad, while tea and dairy farmers are also expected to benefit through streamlined value chains and transparent payouts. Ndutamokami for Prime Edition.
Kenya's clean energy drive has received a boost through a new partnership between KenGen, Nestle and Global Green Growth Institute. Under the collaboration, GGGI will provide technical expertise and policy support, while Nestle comes on board as the official refreshment partner. The announcement comes ahead of the KenGen Sustainable Energy Conference.
While we generate energy that lights up our nation, it is through collaboration with knowledge leaders and corporate partners alike that we spark innovation, refresh conversations, and scale up climate action.
For GGGI, the conference is more than a dialogue. It is about building trust, forging partnership, and driving action. Its purpose is to unlock financing solutions, facilitate cross-sector collaboration, promote knowledge exchange and capacity building, showcase case studies to inspire and replicate, as well as to scale up proven business models in the continent. We're looking forward to this continuous collaboration into the future. What we would be, as you know, Nestle is really a company that is really ingrained in sustainability. And this is something that also makes us proud for us to be able to partner with KenGen to be able to go forth and really spread this news of sustainability, because sustainability really is the future.
Kenya will leverage its collaboration with the Civil Air Navigation Services Organization to adopt AI-driven decision-making processes. According to Nicholas Boro, Acting Permanent Secretary, Department of Aviation and Aerospace Development, the move will boost Kenya's quest to become a regional hub for safe, sustainable and inclusive air travel.
Kenya's airspace is positioning itself strategically under the Complete Air Traffic Systems CART's 2045 vision framework by adopting advanced automated ATM systems, digitized flight planning and AI tools for predictive maintenance.
This vision, with its 7 transformative building blocks, offers a strategic framework that resonates deeply with Kenya's national aviation policy and our broader transport agenda.
Kenya sees Council as a catalyst for safer, smarter and green skies, with sustainability, digitization, safety and talent development being the key levers for scaling air travel.
When it comes to opening African skies, we want, from a Kanzo perspective, we want to be in a supporting role to support Africa as this year's conference is focused on action. Our African counterparts focusing on establishing, again, that safe, efficient, and greener operation of African skies. So Kanzo's excited about hosting this event and welcoming all of our partners from across the continent.
The collaboration will also see Kenya harmonize its airspace management with neighboring states, supporting seamless regional and continental operations under the single African air transport market.
Automation, digitization, and performance-based navigation are reshaping our skies. But technology must empower, not replace the human element. We must invest in systems that enhance situational awareness, streamline communication, and support decision-making. Africa has the opportunity to leapfrog legacy systems and adopt smart, scalable solutions.
Kenya will also leverage the partnership to advance its implementation of the carbon offsetting and reduction scheme for international aviation CORSIA, as well as the uptake of sustainable aviation fuels. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Entrepreneurs are being urged to partner with tech solution providers to ease their business processes such as bookkeeping and web support. Stakeholders attending this year's Safaricom's Business Innovation Day pointed to the benefits of SMEs adopting strategic digital transformation partners in order to harness technology to become more resilient, competitive, and sustainable.
So thank you very much once again, Ineth. Let me ask you something very interesting. How many are dads here? Knowingly or unknowingly?
As technology, we are here with you. We want to work with you. We're building platforms that are usable for internal use, but can also be used externally. And therefore, because we created ones, they'll be easy and cheaper.
And in this journey for TechCo, you really need to have conversations, engage other thought leaders. And we are showcasing some of our capabilities, but also sharing honestly and genuinely, have conversation where, because these are not a standalone kind of solution, they are bespoke solutions.
That's all the time we had for the business news, and Bernard Okumbo is on the other side of studio, ready with the sports news. Okumu, over to you.
And thank you so much, Doreen. Indeed, it is time for the latest from the sports world. And Bernard Okumu. Let's begin with soccer, where the curtains, as they come down on the Africa Nations Championship CHAN, jointly being hosted by Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Now, this morning, our reporter Dan Mwendwa, who is in Kampala, caught up with the chairman of the local organizing committee in Uganda, Dr. Dennis Mujiba, and they talked about the experiences of that particular nation hosting the championship and also the challenges. Here's the story by Dan Mwendwa from Kampala, Uganda.
The African Nations Championship curtains come down on Saturday, where two-times champions Atlas Lions of Morocco battle it out with Madagascar after securing victories against Senegal and Sudan, respectively. Remember, this tournament was co-hosted by Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, and here at the Nambole Stadium, we had an opportunity to talk with the chairman of the communication and synergy of the local organizing committee.
It's been a very, very excellent opportunity for us, one, to advance the cause for East African integration, bringing us together as the three countries, working together to execute CHAN, and a learning curve, a very steep one, for preparations to host AFCON.
Uganda Cranes didn't perform as expected. What are some of the positives you have taken from their participation in the CHAN 2024?
The historic moment of us hosting CHAN. Number two, our country, we reached the quarterfinals for CHAN for the very first time. Three, we scored the most goals in the tournament. So that is good. It really shows that the domestic league here has talent.
Do you think that co-hosting of these tournaments has impacted the international relationships between the East African countries beyond football?
It really did. Now, the relationship we had before football facilitated us even winning the Pamoja bid. But now it has really cemented every gap, every brick and mortar has been brought together because of this sports event.
And lastly, what message do you have for Uganda fans, Uganda players, and the East African region after hosting the CHAN 2024?
We are so honored as a country to be co-hosting Pamoja CHAN 2024 tournament together with our sister countries of Kenya, Tanzania. We are so grateful that we've tested ourselves, our capabilities to host AFCON 2027. We are so grateful for the fans that filled the stands here in Nambole. But we've also been following what's happening in Tanzania and Kenya. We are so grateful that fans are behind this. We are so grateful that the governments are behind all this. We can do this if we are together, we are speaking the same voice, we are focusing on one mission: successful co-hosting of CHAN 2024 and AFCON 2027.
That was Dr. Dennis Mujiba, the head of communication and synergy at the local organizing committee of the CHAN and AFCON 2027 in Uganda. And from here, all eyes now shift to the third place playoffs here at the Nambole Stadium, where Sudan will be battling out with Senegal. And on Saturday, we wrap it all at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasrani, where two times champions Atlas Lions of Morocco will be battling it out with Madagascar. Remember, all the matches will be beamed live on KBC Channel 1. Sababu Chan, Iko KBC. From Nambole Stadium, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
And thank you, Dan, for that report from Nambole in Kampala. Also, the Kenya national women's volleyball team, Malkia Strikers, recorded their first victory at the ongoing World Volleyball Championship in Thailand after beating Vietnam in 3 straight sets. After a disappointing start to the tournament, Malkia started the match on a high but festive opposition before narrowly winning the first set 25-23. Kenya controlled the opening stages of the second set before Vietnam fought back hard, but the gap could not be close as Kenya went on to get to bag a 25-22 second set win. Malkia upped their game in the third set and opened a 7-point gap before sealing it 25-18. The win was a reprieve for Malkia Strikers, who had only managed to win a set in their opening 2 matches. They lost in straight sets to Germany in their first game before suffering 3 sets to 1 loss to Poland. Of course, they had already been knocked out of the championship after those 2 losses. But well done, Malkia Strikers.
To go, and this time it's in, and it's an ace! Can you believe it? She is grafting. By contrast, if that one is overbaked, is going to be ace. That's dropped on the line. Beautiful serve. Kenya are playing out of their skin, and Barassa in particular, and her 5 teammates in front of her serving for the match, and she's won it with it.
And to cricket now, where 6 teams will compete in this year's Cricket Kenya T20 League that will ball off in Nairobi in November. The league will be played in honor of the Kenya national cricket teams of 1996 to 2003 that elevated Kenya's cricket to global status.
Cricket Kenya on Wednesday launched the T20 League following a lucrative contractual agreement that was signed between Cricket Kenya and the Dubai, India-based sports promotional outfit Our Sport Tournament.
The most important thing is to see what we can do for our youth, and that is the most important thing. For Cricket Kenya, all we're asking for is to support whichever differences we have. This is bigger than all of us. Yes, we all come and serve as Cricket Kenya and we move on. The most important thing is, can we just try and support the sport?
The collaboration is poised to catapult Kenya cricket to unprecedented heights by unlocking vast potential for Kenyan cricketers as well as talented players from the African Associate member nations.
We need such games, we need such tournaments for our young talents to showcase their talent. If you look at the IPL, which has brought the best of cricket in India, and if we can emulate that here, I'm sure Kenya cricket will reach the heights of 2003.
The league will be played in honor of the Kenya national cricket teams of 1996 to 2003 that elevated Kenya's cricket to global status. At the same time, Kenya's cricket legends were honored, including Maurice Odumbe and Martin Suji.
From navigating complex, from lot of hurdles to secure sponsorship, building and a strong team, every step of way has been a challenge. But through it all, our commitment is bring high quality cricket to Kenya.
We will continue investing in these facilities. We are going to invest in this partnership that we are starting, and we are going to make sure that there is that grassroots programs. I know we've talked about the Mdangari Primary School, the activity that we've been having. We are going to pursue more schools and make sure that we are going to be part of this.
And it's all about the days of yore as far as the Kenyan cricket is concerned, which reached its peak in 2003 when Kenya qualified for the semi-finals of the World Cup. And of course, names like Maurice Odumbe, Steve Tikolo, Tom Tikolo ring a bell among the cricket lovers. Moving on, Ability Sports Kenya has conducted a national trials for the para badminton team, which will be participating in the forthcoming World Para Powerlifting Outdoor World Cup, which will be held in Mersin, Turkey from the 18th to the 25th of October.
Ability Sports Kenya Federation President Agnes Oluoch revealed that they are targeting to select 10 powerlifters and 10 badminton players ahead of the inaugural games.
It means that we are actually trying to tap in new talent, young athletes in disability sports. So we have decided to go to schools, try and get these talents.
Ability Sports Kenya Deputy President Alfred Simiyu said that the exercise was important for identification of talents, with those picked expected to begin in earnest. Over 40 countries are expected to take part in the championship.
Hii ndio itakuwa chanzo cha sisi kuweza kuweka rekodi vizuri, kuhakikisha kwamba tuko na wachezaji wazuri ambao wanaweza hata zoa pointi ambazo zinaweza wawezesha kuweza kushiriki katika mchezo wa Olimpiki.
Sean Muya for Prime Edition.
And just before we continue with sports, let's take you to Kajiado County, where Kajiado Governor Joseph Ole Lenku is calling on public and private stakeholders to partner with the county for the upcoming Ma Cultural and Tourism Festivals slated for the 5th to 8th of November this year. Now, Governor Ole Lenku said the festival not only provides an opportunity to showcase culture, but also offers a platform for investment and economic development. Ole Lenku spoke after hosting top managers of the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, which is seeking to be a broadcast partner for the event.
The annual Ma Cultural and Tourism Festival is set to take place at the Amboseli National Park this year from the 5th to 8th of November. To this effect, Kajiado County government has started meeting private and public sector stakeholders with a view of partnering at different levels to make the event a success. Speaking during a meeting with the stakeholders, Governor Joseph Ole Lenku, who doubles up as the Ma community spokesperson, expressed the county's readiness to partner with relevant bodies to ensure the event's success.
It is time to celebrate it. It is time to share it with the world. It is time to document it. It is time to correctly position it.
The event seeks to showcase the community's cultural prowess that has stood the test of time and also provide an opportunity for the devolved unit to reap economic benefits from both local and international tourists who will attend.
We will have a section where we will be sharing investment opportunities available in Kajiado County.
We want to be the broadcast partner for the event.
Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is seeking broadcast rights to relay the same live during the extravaganza.
As the custodian of the Kenyan heritage, KBC want to document this important event and for future reference and for future generation.
Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition.
And that's a great initiative by KBC right there, which is also seeking to document the Ma community. Meanwhile, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. But remember, there is more from the sports world today, including Coach Benny McCarthy, who did name his 23-man squad ahead of the back-to-back World Cup qualifiers next month on 5th of September here in Kasarani against the Gambia. Then 4 days later, of course, Harambee Stars will be playing Seychelles. That's in Group F. We know that we are down all out of the contention for a place at the 2026 World Cup, but of course Benny will be using these particular matches to get his squad as he also finds his first 11. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernardo Kumu. Back to Doreen and JJ.
Absolutely, and I must admit that team by Ben McCarthy that was chosen today, I mean, it looks good. Yeah, it looks good.
That was chosen for the World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah.
And hope, of course, we shall display better form and, of course, good form like we did in the CHAN qualifiers. Time for us to exit?
Yeah.
So we go?
Of course we
Good
go.
night.
At the heart of Kenya's transport infrastructure is the Mechanical and Transport Directorate, MTD, under the Ministry of Roads and Transport. We oversee a network of services spread across 24 strategic regions, ensuring efficiency in plant and transport services nationwide, from road construction and maintenance to the provision of specialized equipment to manufacturing services. We support infrastructural development across the country. We carry out inspection and valuation of government vehicles, plant and equipment in view of pre-delivery, repair and maintenance and disposal. We also inspect second-hand imported motor vehicles for roadworthiness as per KEBS KS 1515 and conduct occupational tests for drivers and operators. For more information, visit mtd.go.ke or call 0718 976 445. The Mechanical and Transport Directorate, Quality Mechanical and Plant Services.